Welcome to the COR 2020 Orientation Program. My name is Deborah Moskal, and I'm one of the COR consultants at the IHSA. Before we begin to review the content of this program, I will ask that you please pause for a moment of silence to honor the lives impacted and reflect on how we can ensure every worker arrives home healthy and safe. Thank you. During this session, we are going to review what IHSA is and what services we can offer to you in an effort to help assist with achieving COR 2020 certification and strengthening your health and safety management system. We will review what the COR program is, audit timelines, the audit tool elements and structure, as well as additional resources and next steps. Throughout the orientation, we want you to consider what resources you currently have access to within your workplace, the current status of your company health and safety management system, and where any potential gaps may be. The resources and information that we present to you today can help you close any potential gaps in your current system or develop a health and safety management system to help protect workers. Please note the information that we are reviewing is current as of March 18th, 2022. Organizations are encouraged to check the IHSA website on a regular basis to ensure that they are referencing the most up-to-date information, including but not limited to the COR program guidelines, audit tool, and other important resources. The purpose of this program is to introduce the various resources that IHSA provides, provide an overview of the COR certification process, and introduce key concepts to the COR 2020 audit standard. What is IHSA? IHSA is a leader in health and safety education and is one of the safe work associations in Ontario. Through skills-based training, auditing, and evaluation, IHSA provides safety solutions to those who perform high-risk activities. IHSA services the following sectors: construction, electrical, utilities, aggregates, natural gas, ready-mix concrete, and transportation. IHSA is recognized by the Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development, the Ministry of Transportation, the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development, and the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board as designated trainers and consultants. Some of the services IHSA offers include, but are not limited to, training. IHSA offers various styles of training, including in-class, virtual, and e-learning options. Training information can be found on the IHSA website under the Training tab and full course list. Course availability and registration information can also be found here. Products. IHSA currently offers over 300 products for use, which are available through our internet site. This includes, but is not limited to, safety talks, inspection checklists, sample policies, how-to guides on best practices, and the latest news in health and safety. Information on products can be found on the IHSA website under the Products tab. IHSA products are available in a variety of formats, such as manuals, website downloads, posters, stickers, tags, cards, and information bulletins. Consulting. IHSA consultants are experienced health and safety professionals who can show you how to apply best practices and prevention strategies to your operations, regardless of the size of your company. They will work with you to develop and implement a health and safety policy and program that is specific to the needs of your workplace. We offer a range of auditing services, including COR, ergonomic assessment, and job demands analysis, to name a few. COR 2020 certification. The COR 2020 audit program is a comprehensive and detailed review of the basic elements of an employer's health and safety management system. The COR audit criteria are recognized by industries throughout Canada. Companies that are registered in the COR program may qualify ahead of other companies for certain jobs. We will discuss COR certification in more detail during this orientation. Let's take a look at where we can find this information on the IHSA website. For information relating to training, please click on the Training tab. This section of the website provides you with access to the full course list of training courses that IHSA provides, as well as registration information. To access information on products, please click on the Products tab. This section provides you with access to the products that IHSA provides and offers. You can search for different materials that may be useful to your organization through this section of our website. Consulting. For information on consulting services, please click on the Consulting tab. In this section of our website, you will be able to determine consulting availability through the various regions that IHSA services. To access COR information from the main IHSA website, please scroll down to the COR button. In this section of the web page, you will find the most up-to-date COR information. We will discuss this information in more detail as we continue through this program. The COR 2020 Program Introduction. What is COR? COR is an occupational health and safety accreditation program that verifies a fully implemented health and safety management system, which meets national standards. The Certificate of Recognition, or COR program, is a health and safety management system audit program for employers aimed at reducing the human and financial costs associated with workplace incidents and injuries. COR is aimed at driving positive workplace behavior and practices that lead to improved performance. It is currently being used across Canada and is a pre-qualification requirement for many contractors working in and out of the province and on public and private sector projects. The program was introduced in Ontario in 2012, but has been in place in some Western provinces for over 20 years. The COR program contributes to positive safety culture. The program requires an annual audit and monitoring of the organization's occupational health and safety management system. In addition, the process helps to ensure that employers at all levels of the organization are involved in health and safety. This includes workers, supervisors, and senior management. The Infrastructure Health and Safety Association is the authority having jurisdiction to grant COR certification in the province of Ontario. The COR standard is clear for certification, requiring a minimum of 65% in each element and sub-element, an overall audit score of 80%, and 100% legislative compliance. IHSA provides competent external auditors who are trained to the ISO lead auditor standard, who will complete external audits for organizations. COR is a voluntary program in which the employer agrees to perform an audit annually for 3 years. The COR program helps to demonstrate commitment to health and safety. The COR program demonstrates a proactive approach to health and safety management to help ensure that workers return home to their families at the end of the workday. Clients are continuing to make COR a prerequisite for bidding on projects, and COR provides the foundation for continuous improvement initiatives that help to develop, monitor, and advance your firm's health and safety management system. Third-party incentive programs. Supporting Ontario's Safe Employers is a voluntary Ministry of Labour training and skills development program run by the Chief Prevention Officer. It promotes health and safety in the workplace and helps to reduce injuries and illnesses. The program is made up of 2 parts. accreditation of an occupational health and safety management system, and recognition of employers who have successfully implemented an accredited occupational health and safety management system and meet other criteria set by the Chief Prevention Officer. If your organization is recognized by the Chief Prevention Officer, you may be eligible for financial rewards from the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. Health and Safety Excellence Program. The Health and Safety Excellence Program is a WSIB performance-based rewards program. It integrates the strength of the previous WSIB small business, safety groups, and WorkWell programs into a new improved model. The program provides businesses with a clear roadmap to improving their health and safety processes and systems. The process can lead to financial and non-financial rewards. IHSA is an approved provider of the Health and Safety Excellence Program that can deliver services to help members develop the skills, abilities, and resources towards the implementation and completion of the Excellence Program's health and safety topics. Should you require additional information, please contact the IHSA. COR 2020 process and timelines. The COR 2020 certification process. Let's review the COR certification process at a high level. Please note, additional information will be provided in the required COR training courses for the internal auditor and senior management representative, which we will further discuss in step 3 of this slide. The COR process starts with the establishment of the COR team. This will involve various individuals. For example, the Occupational Health and Safety Management System Senior Management Representative. This individual is responsible and accountable for ensuring that the Occupational Health and Safety Management System meets all of the requirements of the COR program and is continually monitored and maintained. COR Senior Management Representative. This individual oversees the entire COR program. The Senior Management Representative overseeing the COR program is noted as the main contact person in IHSA's records. The COR Internal Auditor. The COR Internal Auditor must be designated for the COR program. For COR purposes, the COR Internal Auditor must be a permanent, full-time employee of the organization. This individual will conduct the internal audit on behalf of the organization. Step 2, complete the application process. It is always the COR Senior Management Representative's responsibility to ensure that the application form is accurate and complete. Step 3, complete required training courses. The COR Senior Management Representative is required to successfully complete COR Essentials. The COR Internal Auditor is required to successfully complete COR Essentials, Introduction to Hazard and Risk Management, Basic Auditing Principles, and COR Internal Auditor. Please note, course availability and registration information can be found under the training section of IHSA's website, as previously discussed in this program. Step 4, implementation of the 14 elements of the COR 2020 audit standard. Ensure the program is implemented for at least 1 year prior to conducting your audit. We will review these elements later in this program. Step 5, initial internal audit. After the program is implemented, complete the initial internal audit according to the audit standard and program guidelines. Please ensure that you have the current version of the audit tool. Once complete, submit the audit to IHSA for pre-assessment and review. Evidence is considered to be valid dating back 12 months from the audit opening meeting date. Step 6, initial internal audit review. Once the audit is received by the IHSA, the audit will go through a pre-assessment process. If successful on the pre-assessment, the audit will be sent to a consultant for a full audit review. If the organization is not successful on the initial internal audit review and does not achieve the minimum COR scoring benchmarks, the organization is notified of any concerns, errors, or omissions with a written report from the IHSA. The organization will be asked to complete any of the following action items assigned at IHSA's discretion. Submit a new internal audit, create and implement a corrective action plan, and submit to IHSA for review. IHSA reviews the corrective action plan and determines if the organization is ready to proceed to external audit. Once approved, the organization can proceed to schedule and complete the external audit. If the organization does not complete the external audit within the allocated time period of 6 months of when the internal audit report was received, the organization will be required to resubmit a new audit for review and return to step 5 in this process. If the organization is successful on the initial internal audit review, achieving the minimum COR scoring benchmarks, the organization receives a written report and can now proceed to schedule an external audit. The organization has 6 months to complete the external audit from the date when the initial internal audit review report was received. If this is not accomplished, the organization would be required to return to step 5 in the process, initial internal audit, and begin the process again. Step 7, external audit. The COR senior management representative selects and confirms a third-party associate auditor and schedules an external audit using the IHSA list of reviewed and approved third-party associate auditors, which is available through the IHSA website. The COR senior management representative must ensure that third-party associate auditors or auditing companies do not audit the same organization for 2 consecutive external audits. Furthermore, a person who provides consulting services to a specific organization cannot be selected to act as an external auditor to that organization due to a conflict of interest. The third-party associate auditor, in conjunction with the organization, creates an audit plan, which is submitted to IHSA for review and approval via the Notice from Associate Auditor form. IHSA can take up to 21 days to review the Notice from Associate Auditor form. Once approved, the organization can proceed with the external audit. For organizations with multiple accounts registered, a third-party associate auditor will perform external audits for each account. In addition to the above option for external audits, IHSA also has an associate auditor mentoring program. The mentoring audit is the process IHSA uses as a last step for potential auditors to become an accredited IHSA associate auditor. Associate auditor candidates have to successfully complete 3 mentoring audits. Once the candidate passes the mentoring audits, their names are added to the IHSA associate auditor list on the IHSA website. IHSA is seeking firms willing to work with IHSA to assist auditors in the mentoring audit process. If you are interested in participating in a mentoring audit, please contact us via email at COR@IHSA.ca. If the organization is not successful at the external audit and does not achieve the minimum COR scoring benchmarks for the external audit, it has 6 months to do the following. Create and implement a corrective action plan. Schedule a re-audit with the third-party associate auditor to verify implementation of areas that were not successful. Please note the organization is responsible for any extra costs incurred for a re-audit. If the above is not accomplished in the allocated time period of 6 months, the organization has to return to step 5 of this process, initial internal audit. If the organization passes the external audit, a COR certificate is issued. 3-year certification period. COR is valid for 3 years. The date of issue becomes day 1 of year 1 in the overall 3-year certification period and becomes the organization's anniversary date. For an organization with multiple accounts registered, a certificate of recognition is issued for each account. To maintain the certification, the organization will be required to complete an internal audit each year and submit to IHSA for review at least 60 days in advance of the organization's anniversary date. Additional information is available through the COR program training series and COR workshops. The process for recertification is similar to the initial processes with 3 key differences. Implementation of the 14 core elements and sub-elements does not take place. As this is a recertification audit, these are already in place. Training must take place only if new individuals are designated to the core positions. For example, internal auditor, and they have not taken the required core training before. Steps to core recertification do not include an initial internal audit submission because the initial internal audit is completed only one time in the core initial cycle by new organizations. Instead, organizations that recertify proceed with another internal maintenance audit. It is the same internal maintenance audit that takes place in the 3-year certification period of both core cycles. This slide shows the current version of the IHSA core screen from the IHSA website. Please keep in mind this information is current as of today's date, March 18th, 2022. Under the COR 2020 tab, you will find information relating to the e-file submission tool, the COR 2020 Audit Standard, COR 2020 Audit Tool, COR 2020 Program Guidelines, Frequently Asked Questions, the COR 2020 Transition Tool, and Audit Handbook. Under the Getting Started tab, you will find information relating to the benefits of COR, the roles and responsibilities, application form, and training information. Under the Internal External Audit tab, you will find a copy of the COR 2020 Program Guideline, the COR Appeal Form, Associate Auditor information, and information relating to how to schedule and coordinate your external audit. Under the COR Certified tab, you will find a list of COR registered firms. Let's take a look at some key resources: the COR 2020 Program Guideline and the COR 2020 Audit Handbook. The COR 2020 Program Guideline. The COR 2020 Program Guideline document is available on the IHSA website and is designed to provide employers with the information needed to ensure that audits are performed in accordance with the Infrastructure Health and Safety Association's COR 2020 auditing protocol, and that COR registered employers maintain their health and safety management system according to IHSA's COR auditing standards. The program guidelines include eligibility for COR certification, processes and key timelines, roles and responsibilities as it relates to IHSA, senior management representatives, the internal and external auditor, quality assurance features for internal and external audits, confidentiality commitments, the appeal process, and code of ethics. The COR 2020 Handbook. The Infrastructure Health and Safety Association has developed the COR 2020 Handbook for COR internal auditors to provide additional assistance in completing the COR 2020 audit efficiently and effectively. This handbook is divided into 3 sections: audit process steps, common problem areas, and additional support for questions and guidelines. The 14 elements to the COR 2020 audit standard. Under COR, the Occupational Health and Safety Management System is comprised of 14 elements. Elements 1, 8, and 14 contain sub-elements as shown with the gray arrows. These elements and the 3 sub-elements have been developed through a multi-stakeholder process by groups of experts to meet specific industry standards, taking into account professional opinions, market needs, and general consensus. There are 14 elements to the audit tool. Element 1 and 1.1 is the health and safety policy. 1.2, document and record control. Element 2, hazard assessment, analysis, and control. Element 3, controls. Element 4, procurement and contractor management. Element 5, company rules. Element 6, personal protective equipment. Element 7, preventative maintenance. Element 8, 8.1, training, and 8.2, communication. Element 9, workplace inspections. Element 10, investigations and reporting. Element 11, emergency preparedness. Element 12, statistics and records. Element 13, legislation and other requirements. And element 14, 14.1, management review, and 14.2, management of change. In general terms, the structure of the audit elements consists of a policy, procedure, implementation, as well as documentation and record control questions. The layout of the elements within the audit tool are consistent, with the exception of element 1. All elements and sub-elements, with the exception of element 1, start with the requirement for a policy statement. The policy statement is required to be specific to the element topic and be current, signed, and dated by senior management. Further details are included within the audit tool. Please note, any words in bold throughout the audit tool have a definition included at the back of the audit tool. As noted on the previous slide, most elements start with the requirement for a policy statement. Here is an example of the policy criteria for element 5, company rules. As a reminder, the policy statement must be current, signed, dated, and state top management's commitment. Each element which specifies a policy statement requires a unique policy statement specific to that element. It is critical that the organization fully define the who, what, where, when, and how each of the clauses in the procedure questions will be accomplished within the procedure. When defining the process that will be followed within the procedure clauses, it may be beneficial to refer to the company's organizational chart to ensure the appropriate individuals and the tasks that they will complete are appropriately captured and aligned. Please note, it is not enough to simply copy and paste the clause into the procedure without providing additional context. The procedure component of each element intends to capture the process for how the organization will implement the specific element. This process will then be validated throughout the implementation portions of the audit tool. Here is an example of the procedure section of element 5 in the COR 2020 audit tool. The intent of the procedure section of the elements is to capture the process of how an employer addresses the various components of the element. The procedure sets the ground for implementation. Implementation will be verified throughout the remainder of the element. As a starting point, it is suggested that the organization write down the process that they are currently following for each of the procedure documents throughout the audit tool. Once this is complete, compare the procedure that is currently in place to the COR audit tool and fill in any potential gaps. The procedure should be based on the needs of the company, be effective, and meet the needs of the workforce. If the procedure does not clearly define the process that will be followed, it cannot be effectively audited in the implementation section of the element. The audit tool is designed with links from the procedure clauses to the implementation questions. The process that is defined within the procedure criteria should be demonstrated to be carried through and verified in the implementation portion of the audit element. Here are some of the implementation questions for element 5. These questions are used to validate that the procedure, which is defined in question 2 of the element, is being followed as outlined in the organization's program. Please note, there are links to the procedure questions in the implementation section of the element as noted on this slide. Here are the remainder of the implementation questions for element 5. These questions are used to verify that the procedure, question 2 of the element, is being followed as outlined in the organization's program. Please note, as previously stated, there are links to the procedure questions throughout the implementation questions of the element. You'll also notice that there is a link to audit question 1.2, record and documentation control. Now that we have provided you with a brief introduction to IHSA, the COR process, and the audit tool, let's discuss some additional resources and next steps. Prior to conducting your audit, please ensure that you have the most current version of the audit tool. In addition, please refer to the IHSA website for additional information on training opportunities, podcasts, conferences, and workshops. IHSA is experienced health and safety professionals who can assist you with understanding how to apply COR to your workplace. If there are any additional comments or questions, please feel free to contact one of the COR consultants listed here, or you can also email IHSA at COR@IHSA.ca for additional information. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to working with you.